Welcome to the Digital Amateur Television Experimenters Night. This is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania. Amateur radio is a worldwide hobby that has many different aspects. Digital television is just one of the many modes and areas that are covered. Maybe you're interested in becoming involved in the DATV Experimenters Nights. You realise that you do not have to be a radio amateur or need any ATV equipment to participate anywhere in the world. Also participate in the night by coming up to the Queen's Domain club rooms. Yes, right on top of the Queen's Domain in the heritage-listed Coast Wireless Station. You never know, we might get you in front of the camera or behind doing one of the many roles during the night. We get underway with our program on a Wednesday night from 7:30 p.m. local time. We'll see you soon. This is VK7 OTC.
So, okay, we'll get underway. This is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our DATV Experimenters Night. And I've got Warren, VK7 Whiskey November, in the studio. Hello, Warren.
Good evening, Justin.
How you going?
Yes, good. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. So, I'll just start off. I wish to acknowledge Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the traditional owners of the land upon which we're presenting tonight, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, the knowledge, the culture and hopes of Aboriginal Tasmania. Now, the reason why, I'll just do a quick check. We've got Mark, hello. We've got Ken from New Zealand. We've got Matt from up north. We've got Darren from Queensland, and we've got Murray from Lauderdale, and Bronson, and I'm not quite sure where Bronson's from, but he'll let us know, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why, and please drop your comments and questions in the chat. The reason I've got Warren in the studio is we had a couple of days ago a very enjoyable lunch.
Yes, indeed.
A very enjoyable lunch with. Actually, we can hang on. With this man here, we might as well use his QSL card. So now this man here is David Brunet.
Something like that. Yeah, Brunet will do.
I've probably totally mangled that, but anyway, David Brunet, who is FT4YM, so Fox Tango 4 Yankee Mike. Now, David was literally fresh back from Antarctica.
Yeah, he came back like only the day before, I think.
Correct.
Yes, that's right.
So, we had a wonderful lunch with him, and at that lunch, he presented what I consider to be quite a special QSL card, and This is obviously his QSL card. He was based at Concordia Base in Antarctica. Concordia Base is both an Italian and a French station.
Joint station.
But the really special thing that was presented, that David gave Warren and myself, was this particular card has on it, and I'll point them out. It's got the Concordia postmark on it, which is this one here. and it also has the longitude and latitude stamp up here. So these are postmarks that can only be postmarked
At the station.
at the station. So this was postmarked at Concordia Station, and I'll show you where Concordia Station is in a moment on a map. It's also got Casey, the Australian Antarctic Division Casey Station stamp on it.
Yes, the rubber stamp at Casey, which exists only at Casey.
And the really special one is this one over here, which has got this plane on it, which is the Wilkins Runway.
That's right.
I didn't even know they had a stamp there. So, and I'm going to zoom. This is pretty special. I showed this to our next door neighbours, and I was really excited. And they were not sharing my excitement. But anyway, okay. But this is just to show you the Wilkins Ice Runway, Airbus A319. So we've got literally all three. We've got Concordia, Casey, and Wilkins. So one of the things that I laughed about was this is effectively David's journey.
Absolutely. He would have carried this card with him in his pocket from station to the Wilkins Aerodrome or runway, and you only hang out at the runway on the day at the time when you're going to fly out, or maybe when you have arrived, but usually you don't make it to the rubber stamp area anyways. But no, so traveling back home, he would have flown from the Wilkins runway, as that stamp indicates, to Hobart with the Airbus 319, a unique Australian aircraft that we use for our Antarctic transport. And
I love it.
by the time you're at the aerodrome, all your luggage, even a lot of your hand luggage, is already sort of in the cargo system.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay.
To get stamps like that, you really have to have those items on your person, sort of
Carrying them with you. Yes. So I was, and I'll just point out the back of the back here. This was the contact I made with, and David did say put this on. So this is not David putting this on. This is me putting it on, because he said you can put on the contact we made. This is the contact I made with him using FT8 on 30 meters, so 10 megahertz, on the 4th of February at 12:06 UTC. So and it was a -15 and -10. So
well, I mean, is with FT8, I don't use FT8, not yet, but would that be logged somewhere on that?
oh, he has it in his log.
Yeah.
And I had it in my log. I looked it up.
So it's, in other words, it's verifiable.
Oh, well and truly.
Yeah.
Well and truly. And in fact, that the other pictures on here, I'll just point out. This is Concordia Station, and I'll show you some other pictures of Concordia in a sec. But this is Concordia Station. It's quite a unique station because there are two large, I think they're hexagon, 2-story or 2 or 3-story buildings that are connected by a passageway. But I'll show you some other pictures of it, because I thought people probably don't know where Concordia Station is.
No.
So hold that thought. I'll just do a setup here. Okay, that's excellent. That was good. So if I do a transition here, we'll go across to the screen, and I've got now this is Concordia Station. This is Google Maps. So this is this is just Google Maps. Google Maps knows about it, and you can see if I click on photos, it shows you, there's a little slideshow that it shows. So this is Concordia Station. So it's got these, actually they're more than hexagons, they're dodecahedrons or something. They're
almost circular.
Yeah, almost circular. So a fairly unique station. I don't know what else is here. Oh, there we go. They're whizzing off on a trek, on a traverse. I haven't actually looked at these, so there may or may not be questionable content. So you can see, one of the things you can see here is the runway. They actually have their a runway, which I think you said the Baslers come in on. Is that?
Yeah. So that runway would be a skiway
Okay.
rather than an ice runway. So the Baslers, which are basically renovated or modified DC3s.
Okay.
They're equipped with skis and they can come and go on that type of runway.
Okay. So they don't have wheels; they've got skis.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So do they have to? Just a matter of interest. Do they have to? They would have to groom that in some way, wouldn't they? Do they just grade it or?
Yeah. Well, they would run over it with like a grader to take out the bumpy bits.
Okay.
And to make it as smooth as possible. Yeah, that would be done probably on almost on a daily basis.
On a daily basis,
depending how the weather is.
So at Wilkins, what's the difference between somewhere like this and the Wilkins runway? What sort of extra things do they do? Because the Wilkins runway is the aircraft have wheels.
Yeah. So the Wilkins runway is what they call an ice runway.
Okay.
And that is groomed or is graded a lot more intense until you actually get into sort of the more firmer ice underneath the top snow surface, and then it is graded in such a way that you do have to a certain degree grooves that allow a bit more traction for the wheels to grip on the runway.
So there's actually something that creates those grooves. Is like a roller or something?
It's a little bit, it's a little bit like a plow.
Okay.
On a tractor.
Okay.
And
how long's that runway?
So the ice runway at Wilkins and a few other stations have ice runways of the same type. The Norwegians do.
Okay.
They're typically about 3.5 kilometers long.
Ooh, okay, righto.
And that is
so longer than normal runways. That's.
Yeah. I mean it. I guess for the landing and the takeoff depends on the type of aircraft too. So at Casey, it's important that we maintain the full 3.5 kilometers for the Airbus.
Okay.
Airbus does seem to need more of a runway, whereas the C-17, which is the
huge
the military aircraft and the RAAF, it actually has the power to take off and to land on a much shorter runway.
Yeah. Okay.
So 2 kilometers will be sufficient for the C-17.
Yeah. Okay. Much bigger wing area and I assume much more thrust. Much more.
Yeah. The runway's actually quite wide. I can't recall now, but it's in excess of 60 meters, I think.
Okay.
And one of the most impressive things to observe is after the C-17 lands, it will actually do a 3-point turn in order to come back to the start of the runway, where it then comes onto what you would call the apron.
Yeah. Okay.
So so under its own steam, so to speak, the aircraft will start reversing and do its 3-point turn, which is you never see that at an airport normally.
No way in the world. And it's a huge aircraft, because Ruben and I had a tour out at the airport of a C-17. Huge aircraft, and it's a jet aircraft. So it's not props. It's jet engines, and there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to a jet aircraft, like a normal jet aircraft, but it's a cargo plane. Now, where is Concordia? We gave you some pictures. Now this is Concordia Station. If we zoom out here, this is the impressive thing. If we keep zooming out, at some point there's Concordia. Keep zooming out, zooming. And we finally get to... Oh, there we go. Now, to give you an idea, here's Dumont d'Urville up here on the coast. There we go. So that's the other French... That is just a French station, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. That's the French station. Concordia down here is joint French-Italian. And then if we head up here, this is Casey Station. So we are talking about from there to there we've got 200 kilometres, 2, 4, 6, that's at least 800 kilometres.
Yeah.
At least 800 kilometres. 800 to 1,000 kilometres. So it is huge, and it is in the middle of nowhere. So you can see here's Casey, move a bit further across, here's Davis, and then Mawson's a bit further on. But that's where Concordia is. It is in the middle of nowhere. And then over here, the Zucchelli, I assume that's Italian?
That one there, Zucchelli.
Zucchelli, yeah. I think that's Italian. And then McMurdo. So, and David talked about coming into McMurdo, flying into McMurdo, I think.
Yeah, he did that 1 year, flew into McMurdo, and then, ultimately he needed to get to Dumont d'Urville in order to drive a traverse up to Concordia. But
that's
the way the logistics worked that year, he flew into McMurdo and then hopped over to the Italian station, which in earlier times used to be called Terra Nova, but for some reason it's changed its name to that.
Okay.
And then from there, he somehow managed to get over to Dumont d'Urville. I think it was just a matter of when the Baslers were available.
Yeah, okay. So you can fly into each of these areas. Now, the other thing I was going to do was just zoom in on Casey to show you, because we talked about the Wilkins Runway. So this is, let's zoom right in here so you can you can tell us about something that's familiar.
There we go. Yeah.
Now where is it? Oh, there we go. Keep going, Justin. Keep going.
Casey Station. There we go. We can start to see a few buildings now.
There's the big red shed.
Yep. So, the big red shed. That's the main living quarters, which also houses the hospital, and the mess and various recreational facilities.
Now, where's the hobby hut?
The hobby hut. Okay, so yes, where you have the pointer now, there's a little cluster of sheds, if you like. Exactly. And from this perspective, it would be the one on the far left of that group. Yes, at the very end. There's the hobby hut.
I love it. So that's where Warren operated from, and that's where David operated from.
That's right.
So yes. I don't know how many... He didn't mention how many... Did he mention how many contacts he made? I don't think he did at lunch. I'm not sure.
He did. I think with FT8, he did quite a few. Though I don't know if they were all from Casey or whether they were over summer from his whole summer at Concordia and elsewhere. But I thought he said he did something like 800 contacts.
And that wouldn't surprise me. Now, Wilkins Runway. Now, let's see if Google Maps knows about Wilkins Runway, Antarctica.
Here we go.
Top of the list.
Yeah, very good.
There we go. So, if we zoom out, you'll see the size of the runway. So this, you said that's 3.5 kilometres long.
Yeah, it should be. It.
Yeah, that'll be right. Because that's 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2, 3, 3.5. Yeah. Well and truly. But you zoom in here, and there is a little row of buildings. There's a little row of buildings here, which are you can explain.
Yes, well, so that's where the runway crew live, if you like. So they have one building is mainly the sleeping quarters. Another one is the sort of main living quarters, if you like, where the kitchen is, fairly large dining room and a bit of a video room upstairs.
Okay.
And in that building is also are the toilets and showers.
Okay.
So
how many people live there whilst the runways operate?
During summer, I think the crew is close to about 12.
Ooh, okay.
So easily around that mark.
Okay.
And most of them go home at the end of summer, but we keep sort of a few over winter who then stay at Casey Station, and every 4 weeks they do a trip which takes several hours up to the Wilkins runway just to inspect the buildings, make sure everything is still sealed.
Okay.
Towards the start of the next summer, then they start reactivating the buildings, if you like, and start work on the runway as well.
Okay. Now, for those who don't know, that's a C-17. So that's the big aircraft, and that's the Airbus, isn't it?
That would be the Airbus. Yep, that's our 319, the A319.
With a Hagland delivering the cargo, I assume.
Do we see a Hagland there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a little Hagland just there, with a trailer on.
Yes, you're right.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's a.
So that Hagland's there that we see. Well, that yellow trailer on the end of the Haglands, that's actually a firefighting unit, if you like. So
okay.
That's on standby at the runway when flights are happening.
Okay.
So that's their firefighting equipment.
Oh, and here they are.
So yeah, this looks like sort of the start of summer when there's a lot of snow that's accumulated over winter, and it's got to be all pushed aside.
So do they go down to hard ice? Is that
pretty much? Yeah,
that's what they're trying to do. They're
that's right.
So basically, the snowfall for winter, they need to get rid of.
They need to remove all that. Yes, that's right.
Okay, that's not an insignificant task for 3.5 kilometres.
Yes, and like I said, it's fairly wide too. I forget now the width of the runway, but the snow clearing is at least 60 meters.
Okay. That's the... Anyway. Oh, there we go. The grooming. Anyway, so sorry, I didn't mean to jump into the photos. But, so that's Wilkins Runway. Now, if I zoom out, we'll... hang on, and get rid of that. There's Wilkins Runway. And there's Casey Station.
Yeah, now it would be interesting if you go back to your Google Maps search and you entered before Wilkins Runway.
Yep.
And then you click on directions.
Directions, yes.
There's that blue one there.
Oh.
And now up there you put in, say, Casey Station.
Casey Station.
Let's see what it comes up with. Please. Can it work it out?
We cannot calculate the driving directions. No roads. Sorry, no roads. If I was in Google Earth, you would be able to do just a point to point. But let's hang on, because
the vehicles, like the vehicles do follow a set track.
Okay.
And even, say, after bad weather, remnants of that track are still visible here and there. If all else fails, there are markers. But I think on good aerial photographs, you can see the track. So between Casey and Wilkins, which is around here, that's 20, 40, 60, probably 60 kilometres. That's correct. It's about 70 kilometres.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So it's that's not an insignificant journey if you're having to do it over the ice.
No, it takes you about 2.5 hours with the Haglunds.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not exactly smooth either, so you're bouncing around a fair bit.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that gets groomed as well. The tractors, when they carry fuel and other supplies up, they're using a tractor like a traverse type system. That can take up to 8 hours or so, 4 to 8 hours, an all-day trip to get up there.
Okay.
Just one way.
Well, there you go. I love it. So that was okay. That's an excellent point, David. Hang on. So if we go to Wilkins Runway, you can tell that Wilkins Runway, and go back there. So off with that. So David DBX on the chat made a good point, because we can, if we just transition back, we can right click, measure distance.
Yes, from there to there. Okay.
Is 61.94 kilometres. So you're right. By the time that you're whizzing around, because it's never a straight line.
That would be as the skewer flies.
Correct. So there you go. So that's excellent. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that, David. I've learnt something with Google Maps. I know you can certainly do that with Google Earth. Do it all the time. And also get a profile from Google Earth, which is a really handy feature. Now, we seem to have frozen there, but anyway. Okay. I'll keep that open. Now, who else? We've got David. We've got Lionel from the US. And we've got Andy from the UK. So we've got New Zealand, US, UK... Bronson, Caboolture. So we've got a couple from Queensland, and we've got a couple from a number from Tasmania. So fantastic! Thanks for
international audience. That's fantastic.
Well and truly.
Live. Yeah.
Now the other thing. How are we going for time? We've got this was going to be a 10-minute segment. What I was going to show was the pictures from David. I'll just show a few of the the pictures he sent through. There we go. So, okay. So, David, when he was down there, was on WhatsApp. Oh, there we go. And he sent a few pictures of his adventures around Casey. This is the adventures around Casey. So, and this is you might be able to explain the signpost at Casey that points.
Yeah,
to
that post in the middle of the picture there that has sort of signs on it like distances to New York and Moscow and maybe some of the favorite cities where expeditioners have come from. And we can see one of the 3 flagpoles there, 2 or 3 flagpoles.
No, I can't zoom in.
On Anzac Day, yep, we have the usual service outside.
Okay. Okay. That's excellent. Some ice tunnels. Oh, here we go. Now, this is David at the end. I assume this is the French crew. He did talk about cross-country skiing, and he was really into skiing. He does mountaineering in France.
Back at home,
Back in France. And so he lives in a little village not that far from Mont Blanc, if you know where that is in France. So Mont Blanc's a very famous mountain in France. In a little village that a vehicle's named after, Chameau. Anyway, so this is lots of little haglins and lots of big crew. All look like they went for a day out. Oh, very nice sunset or sunrise, one or the other. I did notice that David was that's David in the middle. And David, he was a big he's a big bicycle on his bicycle. He said he was talked about going on his bicycle quite a bit, mountain bike quite a bit.
Yeah, by trade, David is a carpenter, chippy.
Yeah,
but he's also a dedicated or nominated traverse driver. So.
Now, what's the bus behind him?
Yeah, okay, well that's the so-called Terra bus. I think it's manufactured by a company that's called Terra or something like that.
So it's not a hold on for dear life bus. Yeah.
No, not Terra bus.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's got very large, very soft wheels, makes the ride. That's basically our sort of passenger transport between Casey Station and Wilkins.
Oh, okay, okay. So how many can fit on that bus?
Look, that's a large bus. Oh, that'll take 30, 50 people, something like that.
Yeah, okay, righto. Okay.
Yeah,
oh, well, there you go. That's that. And there's David poking his head up, bit of a selfie. There's somebody going for a run.
Getting some exercise.
Oh, now.
That looks like wow, don't know which aircraft that is, but that probably is a Basler.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is a bit of skiing and a bit of cross-country running. Oh, now, this is him using, and there's my call sign. That I reckon's the contact that I made with him. -15. Oh, now.
Talk about this. Well, there's always a bun fight at Casey Station between the doctor and the chef. The chef is trying to fatten people up, and the doctors keep telling the people, lose weight. Yeah. And this little corner chocolate does not help. It is just loaded with all your favorite chocolates, and it's just out there free for all. And when the newcomers rock in, they grab handfuls of that stuff until they realize, where am I going to put all this stuff?
There's big boxes of all the different types of chocolate with Casey's stickers on them. And then the bin next door for the wrappers, I assume.
Yeah, so the bin is loaded with all your Snickers and Mars bars.
Oh, okay,
and stuff like that.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So the wrappers actually still have something in them.
Yeah. David made the comment, I think, with this particular hang on. Push the right button, Justin. With this particular photo, that this was the Frenchman's favourite place. So, and that was the last one.
Yeah.
So yes. So,
yeah, no, that's fantastic. I think should we show the QSL card one more time?
Oh yes, definitely.
And, definitely a nice collector's item there.
Oh no, this is I really really impressed with this card because when you look at the card, you just go, okay, it's a QSL card and it's come from Antarctica, which is fantastic in itself. But when you realise that there are 3 different places in Antarctica post-stamped on there, it makes it even more special. So yeah, Concordia, Wilkins, and Casey, and then the French Polar Institute stamp.
And I find his call sign. So he's very. I think he. I think his call sign FT4 Yankee Mike. I think that is his French call sign for Antarctica, probably when at Dumont, and the /P is when he's at Concordia.
Okay.
And when he was at Casey, I noticed that he did do VK0 /FT4 YMP.
Yeah.
/P. So yeah, it depending where he was, he seems to put the details in his call sign.
Add the prefix with the details. So and made an awful lot of digital contacts on many bands, different bands, and all sorts of stuff.
No, very good. No, it was great to meet up with David. I hadn't met him before.
Okay.
Though I had spoken to him on radio.
Yep.
And
so,
yeah.
Did you speak to him base to base?
So years ago, 3 years ago, while I was at Casey Station, I did speak to him while he was making his way from McMurdo to Dumont-Durville.
Okay.
And I don't know if I had any further contacts with him after that at Concordia.
Yeah.
But later, at some stage when I was back home here in Tasmania, I managed to catch him on air, and I think that was by coincidence. I didn't know he was on air.
Okay.
And he was actually mobile at the time, moving a traverse, driving the tractor from Concordia to Dumont-Durville.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I thought that was a special contact, considering the circumstance.
Now, can I just say that would have been using my power amplifier.
Yes, that's right. And and my contacts were always voice too.
Because he put out a call to say that the PA transistors in one of his rigs, in the rig he was using, had failed, and so put out a call for a PA, a linear. We were able to, and the window of opportunity was like a day and a half to get it to the shipping agents, who were then putting it, I don't know, on a plane or a ship or whatever, to get it to him at Dumont-Durville. Or actually, no, I put Concordia Station on there. So I think I put Concordia Station on there. But anyway, I was told this is what you need to put on there.
And I think you delivered it to the French Polar people.
The French Polar people.
And
they knew about it. They
David must have worded them up, and they were
so they were expecting this box, and the box ended up down there, and he said he didn't use it at the station, but he used it in the tractor when they were traversing. So
I think you made him very happy with that. That was such an unlikely chance, but you spotted it, you had something available, you managed to get it, I think, just in the last minute to
correct. we had a day and a half to organise something, and I took it down there one morning, and and there was this huge pile of stuff on the floor.
And this was even before you actually knew him, wasn't it? I mean, it's just like...
That was just... I didn't know him. He then came back, and he came through Hobart, and Helen and I had lunch with him. We had lunch at...
this is sort of like 2 years ago.
Oh, no, yeah. And which was fortunate because Helen, my wife Helen, speaks quite good French, so she was the translator. But David speaks very good English, so it puts us to shame, really.
Yeah,
So
no,
yes.
for me it was the first time to meet him just recently when he handed out his QSL card, and it was just, I think it was just great to meet him in person.
It's good.
After all, we had been in touch for numerous occasions via WhatsApp, but to actually sort of come together person to person and organizing a lunch. That was on the last Thursday, wasn't
Last
it?
Thursday.
So almost a week ago.
Fantastic.
Here in Hobart, and it was only a very short stopover for him too, because I think 8 a.m. next morning he was on his way again.
He was on his way on to Melbourne or Sydney, and then he said a direct flight to France, which is 26 hours or something. It's just, so yeah, long trip. But anyway, that's
excellent.
That's our French connection tonight. So
Well, I might go
Fantastic.
grab a cup of tea.
No problems. Thanks, Warren. So, what we might do now, I've just got, I'm a bit concerned because okay, it's just the stream that seems to be a bit dodgy on here. Now, one of the things, I have a number of computers that are all running WSJT for various frequencies, and if I'm using that particular computer for a logging program, I don't have... With WSJT, if you log a contact, so there is... I'll show you. Hang on. Let me show you. So on the studio PC, I've got WSJT up here, and if you do a decode and you want to then log that particular contact, you can just here in the line of buttons here, log QSO. So just ignore that error message, and it comes up, and if you've made that contact, then it will fill in all of the details, the signal level strengths that's sent, VK7 TW say, all of this would be filled in automatically. You know, -10 and -18 and a grid square, I don't know, whatever it is, name, that'll do. And if you've got other details in there, you can put other details in there. So you can check all this when you log it. If you push the log QSO and it fills it all in, and you can go, okay, and you've logged that contact. Now, if you're not using a third-party type application like Grid Tracker or Ham Radio Deluxe or something that connects into WSJT, and it grabs that logged contact and then pushes it out to EQSL or Logbook of the World or Club Log or the myriad of other logging applications out there. If you don't use one of those third parties, how do you grab the log file and upload it to your favourite logging website? And I suddenly realised that I hadn't done that for a while, and so I went, oh, okay, I've got to go and look for the log file. Now, the easiest way that I've found, and this is why I wanted to put it on tonight, is if you go up to the Files menu, and it doesn't matter whether we're on Ubuntu here, so we're on Linux, but it's the same with Windows, it's the same on a Mac, etc., etc. There is, just above your settings, which you're probably used to going to, it is Open Log File Directory. Now, you can notice there are a whole lot of things in here, but the key one that you're looking for is WSJT-X log.ADI. Now, that's an ADIF file. That's the Amateur Data Interchange file. Now, if you open this with a text editor, you'll notice this is the standard ADIF format. So everything's got an identifier. It's got a number of characters, and then the actual content. And you can see in here, one I did earlier, there's a contact here, and then the one we just did then, there's another contact, and this will be full up with all of your log files. And what you can do is save this off and then upload the ADIF file into EQSL, and I'm a EQSL user. I have been for a long time, and so EQSL enables you to import a file, an ADIF file format, and import that, and it goes through and puts it in the relevant parts of the database and logs that contact for you. So that's how you manually change from if you're not using one of those third parties that automatically upload it, then that is the way that you download that file, and then you can upload it to your favorite logging website. Now, the other thing I'll point out here is, once you've done that, what I usually do is reset the Cabrillo log. Now, what that does, erase the Cabrillo log, erase WSJT_log.ADI. So, what that does, reset the Cabrillo log, gets rid of all those log entries up to this point in time, and erase the ADI file. Now, why do you do that? Because if you start logging from here on and you download that ADI file, you will have duplicates. So when you go to upload it into EQSL, it will complain, and it will. I think it says something like duplicate log entries ignored, and so you can just keep doing that if you want to. But the easiest way to stop those error messages is erase the ADI file and reset the Cabrillo log. And what it does is then start to log a fresh file, which you can then grab at some point in the future and upload to your favourite logging website, EQSL, Logbook of the World, Club Log, etc., etc., etc. There are lots of them out there. So I just thought I'd mention that's how you download the log file out of WSJT-X. So yeah. So let me just hang on. I just need to go back to the comments. And we've got Datsun 1600. Great vehicle that. Now, I'm a member of Old Timers, the Radio Amateurs Old Timers Club of Tasmania, of Australia, and they produce a fantastic magazine each month, which is OTN, or Old Timers News. Now, to become a member of RAOTC, you can become an associate member if you haven't got 25 years as a radio amateur clocked up, but if you have, you can become a full member of the Radio Amateurs Old Timers Club of Australia. Now, the key thing here, when I went to, I took this out of the mailbox, and on the front page was a highly recognisable tower, two towers, the old tower and the new tower on Mount Wellington. And there is a an absolutely fantastic article on The Tale of Two Towers, written by Tim Robinson, who's the editor of OTN, and it's all about the making of the very first tower, which was a lattice steel tower, and all the issues that they had with ice and icing up and all sorts of stuff. You can see here that tower doesn't have the radome on it anymore, and he talks about in here the fact that ice would get on all of the dipole array elements and then would fall off and nearly damage coaxes down the bottom because of the weight of it. And so they had to cover all of that with sleepers and all sorts of things. Here's the building, which is still up there, the now Broadcast Australia building. Snowplow. You've got now. They then ended up putting a radome onto it to stop that icing up and detuning the elements. And then he goes on to talk about the new tower. So the big concrete new tower. And you can see here it's concrete up to about 2/3 of the way up, and then it is a radome all the way up, and the bottom bit of this is FM radio and VHF television communications, and then the top bit is UHF television antennas. And there's some great pictures here of them building the tower, all the concrete in the bottom of the tower. And they had a slip form. It's a Swedish slip form arrangement where they had a ring that got smaller and smaller and smaller that formed the concrete formwork on the outside. There's even a wonderful picture here of the inside of the tower that's got the cable tray here and the lift track that goes up to that antenna level. And there's the completed tower that we see today, with the radome on it and the little vanes at the top that help with the wind. And the interesting thing is they incorporated into that tower tuned liquid dampers. So this is these are dampers that were actually built into the concrete wall that enable that take the vibration from the wind and apparently slow down the actual movement of the tower. So I thought that was quite interesting, the tuned liquid dampers. And then this is the you can see the ABC control room in the building, in the original building, and all of the transmitter control panels at the back. And they make a comment here, and the off-air monitor, which is basically a black and white television sitting here next to them, with probably some rabbit ears on it, and that was it. But fantastic article that jumped out at me in the Old Timers News, which is the Mount Wellington television tower. Absolutely fantastic, just off the show. Now, how are we going for time? Okay, all right. Now, one of the things we've had over the past couple of weeks, we started off with quite a few weeks ago with straight keys, and then we moved to side swipers, and last week we had semi-automatic keys, so the dits are automatically created by a counterbalance, and then you create the dashes. We've now moved, and what I'll do here is, oh, sorry, that camera goes fairly quickly, doesn't it? I'll just zoom in on the table here, because we've got the next in the series, and you'll see on the bench here, the next in the series are paddles. So I've got a selection here of paddles. We've got now a WM or Bill Nye, who's in Bellevue, Washington, paddle. Now this is two paddles. Now so the two paddles are, and in fact, what I can do here, so one paddle, usually on the left, creates dots. I've got an automatic keyer here that it's plugged into. So the left creates the dots at the speed you want. We can slow it right down, or we can speed it right up. And then on the right side, it creates dashes for as long as we push it. So, oh, here, I've got to hold it. Oh, no, I had a did at the end there. But anyway, that's the call sign. So that's a WM9 paddle, what they call iambic paddles. An iambic, I'll go into what iambic A and B means in a minute. Now, another example I've got here is, and I think this is a homebrewed paddle. It got some very nice wooden paddles on it, and this is a solid piece of steel. But it's got the contacts. These are point contacts. Now, I don't know. Let me try and see. I don't know what... Oh, okay, hang on. I have... This may or may not work. Oh, yes. So, this is and I think this is a homebrew key, because there's no mark on it at all. I got this, I think, in a deceased estate, but works really nicely, and the block of steel, well, and the rubber feet well and truly stop it from moving around the desk. So really nice set of iambic paddles. Now, a big shout out to Larry, VK7WLH. Now Larry offered me this particular key. It is, and we talked about Vibroplex the other night. This is a Vibroplex Deluxe. Again, really heavy, solid steel base. It is now, instead of it being two paddles, one dits and one does, this is a single lever but with two contacts. So two contacts. Hang on, let me plug it in so that I can demonstrate. So again, you push it left, dots, push it right, dashes. Oh, that's better. Butchered that, but anyway. Now, again, really heavy base, some nice feet on it that hold it to the desk. You've got full adjustment of all of the contacts. It's got a really nice jeweled bearing surface, very similar to what's used in watches. So really nice action to it. And this is quite a late one, because the way I mentioned last time, this is the Vibroplex that was made in Knoxville, Texas, made in the USA. So it's only recently, within the last 10 or so years, gone to Texas to be the Vibroplex company. And so this is a Deluxe Vibroplex key, really nice. This is the one that's usually on my desk, and I have a straight key sitting next to it. And so when I do my practice, I do the straight key practice, and then I do the same practice on the keyer. So I'm getting a bit of muscle memory. And I'm getting there. But so that's to finish off. Your phone. That's to finish off. Oh, hang on. Where did we go to? Oh, that probably helps if I what's going on here? Oh, I know what's going on here. Let's try that. Ooh, ouch. That's a bit better. That's that dodgy channel again that we had last week. So that's the to finish off our key series. We had straight keys, we had side swipers and cooties. We then had the semi-automatic, and then we've got the paddles. Now, what's the difference between Iambic A and Iambic B? Now, if you push the paddles together, they will do a continuous dit-dar sequence. But it's the difference between A and B is when you release the keys, what happens? In Iambic A, when you release the keys, it stops. It doesn't create any more dits or dars. In Iambic B, when you stop, it will send an additional dit. And there's some interesting history around this, because there's a line of thought here that the original keyers had a fault with them, which introduced another dit, and operators got used to it, and so they actually incorporated it and called it Iambic Iambic B instead of A, so that those operators could continue to operate and get used to it. Because when they went back to Iambic A, they were thinking that there was going to be a dit at the end, and there never was. So there's a bit of thought around that. I'm not sure that that's the case, but but that's the difference between Iambic A and Iambic B. When you push them together, they do the di-dar, 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 and they just keep doing that. And then when you release it, is that difference between A and B. So that's a bit of an idea of what keys are available, all the way from straight keys all the way through to paddles. Now these days paddles are probably the preference. I see more paddles, and there's more paddles out there. If you put in eBay or Alibaba or whoever your favourite e-commerce site is, and put in Morse code paddles, you will be overwhelmed by all sorts of things, and any price range, can I just say. So that's the end of our paddle mania. Now what? Okay. Oh yes, yeah, you're right, Phil. Lance is next door doing CW, so you're getting CW as well. Okay. Now, space weather report. Space weather report. If we go now, there's only one warning, which is a HF fade out warning. 25th to the 27th, so we're in the middle of that. 26th is R1, chance R2. So the only advice here is if you're having comms difficulty on the lower bands, try higher bands. Our tropospheric ducting, actually looking across the bight, Great Australian Bight's looking not bad. If we go into the next couple of days, yeah, sticking around. Across the Tasman looks not bad. On and off, yeah, and it sort of fades out across the Tasman, yeah. So that's our tropospheric ducting. Future training and assessments. Okay. We've had our foundation training last Saturday. We had three people who got their foundation license, which is fantastic. So we welcome them into the hobby, and welcome them to the club. And our next standard, advanced and regulations assessment day is on the 29th of March. So if you're interested, there are also already a couple of people who have booked for that to do their upgrade assessments. So that's fantastic. 29th of March. Let let Reg know, reast.assessor@gmail.com. And reminders now, for our streaming viewers, this specifically is for our streaming viewers. Next week we have our Rig of Choice forum. So bring along if your house was on fire and you raced out and you had to grab one rig and one rig only, what would it be? And the good, the bad and the ugly about the rig. So that's our forum next week, and we will be streaming that. So that's it for our streaming viewers. The next week, which is the 12th of March, we've got a visit to the ABC studios for our Reast members. So come along down at the ABC studios at 7:30 p.m. And then the next 2 Wednesday nights, so the 19th and the 26th of March, and this is specifically for our streaming viewers, we will not have a DATV Experimenters night, and we won't be streaming anything. We have an ADX build night up here at the club. So we won't be streaming, and whilst we won't be streaming, we will actually be upgrading the studio to high definition. So lots of new cameras, lots of new equipment, all run through OBS. So when we get back in April, it will be all in high definition, and so yeah, we're basically upgrading the whole studio. So that's March. So we've got a stream next week, and then we won't have any stream for the rest of March. So just so that our streaming viewers know, we will be back in April in much greater resolution. So you'll be able to see me see me stuff up in high resolution. Anyway, so that's we've gone a bit over time, so apologies for that. But anyway, thanks to everyone who's online. IC7200, Jason wants to traumatise a lot of people. Well, yes, he does. And thank you, Datsun 1600. No, still a great vehicle, great rally vehicle. I can remember them. All right, 73. We'll catch you next week at the forum, and enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll catch you next Wednesday. 73.